PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to PCN's Top YouTube Hits Countdown of 2017. I'm Brian Sullivan. It's been a great year, and to celebrate the new year, we thought we'd share some of our heaviest hitters on social media. 2017 was a blast, and we hope you enjoy the following stories.
For years now, the Pembroke School of Performing Arts has been racking up all kinds of trophies and awards. Now they've got one more thing to brag about. One of their students was selected to assist the choreographers for the television program So You Think You Can Dance. Did we mention that this dancer is only a junior in high school? We stopped over at the studio to meet this inspirational young lady and to get her story.
When Claudia started dancing, she was 3 years old, and she was a strawberry. And she loved the stage. She shined when she was performing, and it's that attracted the staff to her, the love of sharing. As she's grown, her interests have grown with her. She's a fabulous technician. She knows how to use her body to communicate well through dance. She's a gifted percussionist in tap. She's a sassy jazz girl. And that's one of the things that is special about Claudia. She's multi-talented. She can draw from her jazz technique. She can pull from her tap technique. She can be a beautiful, graceful ballerina. And it's not always easy to have that combination in a dancer.
2 years ago, I was accepted into the American Tap Company, and I got to travel to Germany for the World Tap Dance Championships. And we ended up coming in 6th place, which was really exciting. And last year, in 2016, I got accepted back into the company again, and I got to go back and made more progress. I got 4th place, and it was really life-changing because I got to dance with people from all around the world, and I got to learn from other people, and that was really incredible.
Here at Pembroke School of Performing Arts, we have a program, masterclass series. We invited liberated artists to come in. They came in, ran a convention, they saw Claudia, they saw what we see in Claudia, and invited her to be a dance captain for them. That has now resulted in Claudia traveling pretty much the East Coast, and she's assisting So You Think You Can Dance artists at various competitions, conventions.
I was really excited. I didn't really think about them picking me, but I don't know, I was really excited. I never thought that I'd be able to dance with people from all over the country and all over the world. And they're people that I've really looked up to ever since I was a little kid, so it's a really awesome opportunity and I'm excited.
She is a role model for the younger kids, and in that respect, she's very nurturing and can instruct without task mastering.
I'm hoping to dance in college, so I've been looking for programs that I really like, and I've been looking at schools, and I hope to further my dance training in college so that hopefully this is something I can do for the rest of my life.
If you have noticed, the Wildflower Cafe in Duxbury is gone and a new eating establishment has taken its place, the Chestnut Street Grill. Longtime Duxbury residents and owners of Benchwarmer Pizza in town saw a need for a place where you can come in as you are and feel like you're at home. PCN stopped in one night to check it out.
Well, my husband and I saw a need for a business like this in Duxbury, to have a family-friendly restaurant where you could come as you are, and it was a very down-to-earth business where you could come in and have a burger and a beer or a cocktail and watch the end of a ball game. And so I call them muddy little people. So when we had muddy little people, we wanted to be able to bring them somewhere instead of having to leave town. So that was how the whole Chestnut Street Grill came about.
We love the location because it's the center of town. It's where everything is. We have gone to 6 days a week. We're closed on Tuesdays. But we decided to go more for the dinner and after crowd, which has been tremendous successfully. So we're looking to, continue that success.
My husband grew up in this town, and so he's lived here since he was 10 years old. And we moved away for a few years when our children were very small, and then we came back about 18 years ago. And we've lived here ever since, and we've raised our 4 kids through the Duxbury Public School System, and we've been very, very happy and fortunate with how supportive people in this town have been with our business.
The community's been really good. It's something that I've always wanted to do, is have a small little local place that people could come in jeans and shirts and just hang out, watch a few innings of a ball game. Kind of when you walk in the door, you know everybody, almost like a Cheers. It's really friendly, it's family-friendly environment. So that's the kind of the things that we were looking for. So we love it. The community has been so supportive, and it's just been a lot of fun for all of us. We wanted to be a little bit more than just your average typical restaurant, so we have all kinds of food. We have chicken parm, we have fish, we have specials. Our steak tips, our customer told us, are unbelievable. The burgers that we have are a 3% prime burger, so it's kind of the top of the line, and we're really proud of that. It's a great, great flavor. Kayla Gavoni, one of our chefs in the kitchen, makes all her own mayonnaise, her own spices, her own oils, and it just adds that extra little thing that you're looking for. And it's been really, really good so far. We're loving it. We're learning it as we grow, and we're getting better and better. Friendly staff, just a really good community bar that people can really enjoy. That's what we're looking for. It's just people come in and enjoy a few minutes of their day to set aside and just enjoy life a little bit.
The Kingston Police Department hosts a women's self-defense class at the town's recreation center and always has a strong turnout for women looking to better prepare themselves in the event of danger. We spoke with one of the instructors to find out about what the class entails and to learn a little bit about the instructor himself.
Ready? No! Yeah. Forward strike on ready. 5 of them. Ready? No!
Tonight we're putting on a defense class for women. Kingston Police Department's putting that on. Our main goal really is to put the power into the females' hands and teach them some defensive moves, just to avoid some situations that are out there. A position opened up, and then I requested to do. I thought it'd be great. When I was in the Marine Corps, I took combatives and took self-defense in that. So I felt that I had a role from learning on a military side of self-defense, and how can I transfer that over to a civilian side, and then also how can I transfer that over to civilians to teach to teach self-defense moves and that. So I was pretty interested in it when it came out. My role really here is to instruct, to teach these defensive moves, to teach these things to look out for, these dangerous situations, and then walk each person through the steps of facilitating a move, how to properly perform it, and then we go through practical application with punching bags and defending. If you look at the roles, a lot of times what we teach in the class is females are sometimes thought that if there's a situation they can't defend themselves because they don't know how to defend themselves. So what this class is set up to do is to put those tools into the girls' hands to be able to identify a threat, and if that threat is apparent and it's there, defend themselves. In this class it's really dynamic. Usually what we do is we teach high schoolers this class. It's usually senior girls. Right now we have an open forum, so we're opening up. I think we have a 16-year-old girl all the way up to a 64-year-old woman. So you can see the class is pretty diverse, and what we're doing is we're taking that stereotype away that women can be defenseless, they don't know these moves, and we're putting the power into their hands with these defensive moves that we're teaching them. It's really kind of like a walk or crawl, walk, run stage where we start off teaching them just certain stances. We go into punching, we go into using your voice as yelling, and then all the way towards the end we'll be doing scenarios where someone will be dressed up in a suit and basically breaking down like a fight, and a fight will break out and a female will have to defend herself in that fight. We're really trying to change people's mindset. So a lot of times we're giving experiences through people that have been in the military, people that are police officers, and also people that have gone through this course. So teaching those skills to people that go through their day-to-day, not really identifying threats. Now a lot of times people will come back in the class and be like, oh wow, like I saw this and it kind of made the hairs on my neck stand up, and kind of change. We're trying to change people's perspective of things that are out there.
Healy and Kyle have been friends since elementary school and grew up in a Connecticut suburb of New York City. They've been through a lot together, from sneaking into Broadway shows all the way to attending the same college. Though their lives took different paths, they remained friends. Kyle started a career on Broadway and Healy moved up to Massachusetts. As years passed, they still held on to their dream of opening a children's theater company together. And when the opportunity presented itself, what did they do? They started Break-A-Leg Theater Works. Here's their story.
I never want to see Jimmy Smith again. Good. Forget the boys, Domont. Get yourself a canary. No canary in a cage.
Well, Healy and I we met in children's theater when I was in 4th grade and she was in 3rd grade in Norwalk, Connecticut. And so we've known each other pretty much the majority of our lives. And so I guess that's what started our love of the theater. So we've kind of had that sentiment stay with us throughout our lives of being friends.
All the way up till 12th grade.
Yeah, we've always wanted to have a theater company of our own, and so it was always a dream of ours, and we got the opportunity about a year and a couple months ago. Well, I had actually gotten an injury on the road, and I've been working on the road, and I got the injury, and then I had some time off, and I was kind of thinking also what else did I want to do with my life? What was the next chapter? And she called me one day, and she's like, we'd been throwing around this idea for years, and she told me to come up. And yeah, we had a meeting. We didn't even really we had an idea because of what we came from, but we didn't know exactly what it would come to in its fruition.
One of the things we were talking about is he knows a lot of people on Broadway and New York professionals, and we were toying between, do we start with doing a cabaret and bring up some of the professional people he knows, or do we start with classes, theater classes, or a show for kids? And then finally dawned on us that maybe we could do both and get a couple of his friends to come up and do a performance with the students. And it was great. We had our first audition for a show called A Night of Broadway, and we had 2 Broadway performers come up to perform, and we held auditions and just tried to get the word out, and we had amazing talent of kids walk through the door.
And so now we're preparing for our 4th show, which is Let's Go to the Movies, which is going to be an iconic show with songs from movies from different eras, all the way back to the Trolley Song and The Good Ship Lollipop. Going all the way up to Moana. Children learn about themselves from coming in and working in the theater. They learn that who they are is enough, and they are validated by their gifts, their own personal individual gifts, and we celebrate them for that. So what we try to do in the studio is when they come in, whatever levels they have or experiences they have in the theater is irrelevant. It's, do you have an interest, do you have a passion? And we try to celebrate that passion by celebrating their individual unique qualities and letting them know they are enough. So whether they go on to be in the boardroom, the courtroom, the basketball court, or on stage, they leave with a sense of confidence and inner purpose.
So the satisfaction that we get out of teaching this is you can identify those students. There's certain ones that Kyle always talks about, oh, I relate so much to that student because I can see her passion and her longing and how much she just loves coming here during the day. And I see that too. For me, there was another particular student that I saw who could barely get up to audition, and she could barely breathe. Recently, she just got a leading role at her school, over 60 other students and her mother came to us and talked about what a huge boost in confidence she's experienced in the last year. And that's just so validating to see what you identify with when you were younger, the passions, the obstacles, and to see those in your students and to know that I can help give that back, what we got out of it.
The Stonebridge Club in the Pine Hills put a new flagpole up and wanted to dedicate the flagpole to veterans of service in the United States Armed Forces by having a Memorial Day ceremony. PCN stopped by to get this story.
The Memorial Day protocol will lower.
We put this new flagpole up at the Stonebridge Club, which is the geographic and social center of the Pine Hills, about, let's see, 6 months ago. And we thought it would be appropriate to dedicate the flagpole to veterans of service in the United States Armed Forces. We talked about, as we do every Memorial Day, we talked about how important it is for those of us who enjoy the freedoms that our service members have sacrificed for, to remember those sacrifices all the time, but especially on Memorial Day. And that's sort of the gist of the whole thing. That's the reason for the flagpole. At the end of my remarks, I asked everybody who visits the Stonebridge Club on a regular basis to pause for a minute as they drive down the driveway. You can see the flagpole and the flag flying in the breeze, and to pause for a minute and just think about the men and women who made those sacrifices for our freedom. Our co-flag raiser was Ken Goldner, who was a United States Air Force veteran, and he is president of the veterans group at the Pine Hills. As I mentioned, there are more than 300 veterans living in the Pine Hills from all eras, from World War II to the global war on terrorism. And Ken has brought the Pine Hills Veterans Group from a small, active organization to one that on an annual basis contributes several $1,000s, I think more than $5,000 in money to veterans charities here, not just in Pine Hills, but in the town of Plymouth, benefiting all Plymouth veterans. When I was in the Navy in Vietnam, I had a shipmate who went on to flight school, went on to Top Gun, and he flew the last A6 mission over Hanoi in the 70s. And he was shot down. And they didn't find any evidence of him for 30 years. So it's fairly recent. And so he was brought back to his family and put on the wall, buried in Arlington National Cemetery. Those are the kinds of things that you think of on a day like this. I think the best part of it was to see how many people showed up despite the rain and the cold. I mean, it's not a very nice day, even though they say every day in the Pine Hills is nice. And so many people showed up, and so many people thanked us and appreciated the ceremony. It's something that we plan to continue after this year, not as a dedication, of course, but as a commemoration. So that was very gratifying.
Thanks in large part to a scholarship for future rockers, the band Toast has gone from a concept to 15 kids from all over the South Shore auditioning to make the band. Finally, 5 young musicians making music and a name for themselves in the process has been created. We sat in on one of their rehearsals in the basement of the Ellison Center for the Arts in Duxbury.
I kind of like the D sharp. It needs to have that warbly effect. I like the F sharp. The F sharp's kind of hit, right? Can we try one more? C sharp, 2, 3, 4.
It's no longer a group of individuals who got together through this scholarship band that had to audition, and they had to, you know, there were 15 people that wanted to be in the band from all over the South Shore. And my job was to get 5 people to be a band, which means they have to be friends, which means they have to grow together, which means they have to agree musically. And it really happened for these Mad Love kids.
In the band, I sing and I play keyboard, and I also write songs for the band. And I first found out about it through my guitar teacher. He works at the conservatory and mentioned this band that I could like try out for if I wanted to. And I was like, oh, of course, like, don't really want to pass up an opportunity. And so I was playing at a like open mic at the conservatory, and Eric was there, and he was like, oh, have you heard about this band? And I was like, I have heard about the band. And so that's sort of how I found out about it and got involved.
The special thing about Toast is that basically I've been in so many bands and we stick together. We're like a really, really dysfunctional family. We're all just like awesome friends, and it's really nice. When I'm stressed, I play guitar. I literally play guitar like 5 hours a day, depending on whether it's like easy like tablatures and like something to calm me down, or it's like I want to strive to learn something new. It's just like one of the things that if I were to have no guitar in my life, then I wouldn't be the same person.
I want to play like through high school, and I want to be able to like, I want to be able to be with like everyone who's here right now, but I know that like some of them are older and they have to like go off to college before us. So hopefully we can like build from there, and like it'll still be the same like type of feel, you know?
I've been playing since probably like 4th grade, and I like knew I wanted to start some instrument because my sister and my mom played guitar, and my sister was just like, I don't know, like maybe you should play drums, and so I just went and took some lessons and it kind of stuck. We sort of started like last April, but then we like officially started in the summer with like a 4-day retreat thing. And our big debut was at the Mad Love Festival, which was so much fun. And then we've been doing like basement shows in this room every once in a while, which has been awesome with all kids.
I was around 8, I think. I think I saw Slash on a show and I was like, I want to do that. So I started with lessons and then self-taught for most of the time after that. Yeah, and I've loved it ever since I started.
We're going to keep taking as many shows as we can. We're going to keep being a band that's in the community, forming relationships with other bands in the community. And you know, the more you play shows, the more you write music, the more you become yourself, the more you become undeniable. People see you and they talk about you. You know, you come to a basement show, everybody talks about it. You come out to the Middle East, everybody talks about it. And the more that happens, the more it builds up. The band's just going to grow organically like any band does.
Pilgrim Area Collaborative is an educational institute in conjunction with the public school system. They support 10 school districts in the region, both middle and high school ages. If a student in the public school has social, emotional challenges or is struggling with learning due to being on the autism spectrum, a school can do a specialized placement to PAC. It's under their special education budget. Pilgrim Academy in Plymouth is one of their largest facilities, and PCN visited to learn more about this program.
What we do is build special education programs for students who cannot be serviced within district.
Since we began providing these extended services in 2002, we have grown from servicing 2 students and families to over 90. The other piece that for us we've seen is really a growing increase in intensity of the needs of some of these students, that it's not just behavior. We're seeing behavior, communication, social.
Anyone that needs a non-traditional education, who's had some obstacles, who really need the amount of therapeutic support, the amount of love to get through their typical educational day, are going to thrive in our school.
What's different about Pilgrim Area Collaborative is that we try to connect the school to the home, to the community. So we believe it's very important that our students have carryover into the home, and so we do some parent training.
Within our extended services program, we provide supports and training to parents who are struggling often to meet the behavioral and often social and communication needs of their children. So they have frequently tried the typical things that they've done with their other children, and they have found them to be unsuccessful in supporting students who present with more significant communication and behavioral challenges. So the supports that we offer provide parent training. We put specialized staff into the homes to support children and their families within their home and community settings.
In addition, we take students out into the community to give them access and opportunity to be functional in settings outside of the school. And also we believe we do a service to the community in teaching the community to interact students with disabilities.
You know, initially they're feeling very frustrated and hopeless in their ability to support their child. And when they see something as simple as the child can now sit at the table for an entire mealtime with their brothers and sisters, or attend a community event like a birthday party, or engaging in repetitive behaviors, that they're able to play appropriately with peers. That for them often gives them a real sense of empowerment and encouragement, and they become able to carry those things off across environments and in different situations.
We love the students here, the staff love the students, we have a positive culture. Class sizes are smaller, only about 8 students with 2 adults in each classroom, so they're able to get a tremendous amount of support here and also have the privacy to work through their issues, whether it be with their counselor or a teacher assistant. That's very difficult to do in a large public school setting.
So really focusing on providing those independent skills so that as students are transitioning into young adulthood and then eventually adulthood, that they have the skills, the parents feel secure in the ability for these students to be successful, again, at whatever level they can be, whether it's in a supported community living environment or on their own.
They come in somewhat timid, somewhat overwhelmed, anxious, not sure that this is the change that they want. Then I start to see them grow and blossom here, hold the door for each other, smile with their classmates, feel good about their learning. The first time they might receive honor roll, we cook them a breakfast. So I tend to see students go from very timid, very anxious, very negative experiences with a very negative narrative about their school history to so much more positivity, to getting along with others, to smiling, to feeling good about the successes that they achieve.
That's all we have for tonight. If you want to see the show again, you can check out our website, and PCN is also on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook to get up-to-date info. Tune in next week for a brand new PCN and PCN Life. From all of us at PCN, Happy New Year.